So now it says, how do we not get tired so fast? So good question. So cardio, the thing about cardio is cardio has two facets, right? You have to be in shape, number one, but you also have to know how to manage your energy. So let's just talk about being in shape. You have three energy groups. You have your lactic acid system, which is your pretty much like your muscular endurance, your body's ability to work hard for about 2 minutes max. Then you have your aerobic energy group. This is your body's ability to kind of just do something for a long period of time. Long period of time. You're like, jogging. This is going to help you recover in between efforts. And then you have your alactic acid group, which is your ability to explode, right? This is, you're not using, 2 minutes of effort. This is 10 seconds. This is 6 to 12 second range, maximum effort, all out blast. So you have to work all three of the energy groups in order to be in good shape. Now, how often and, how many times a week, all that other stuff, that's really specific to the person and what your goal is. But as long as you're working those three groups, you're going to be in good shape. Now, outside of being in good shape, you also have to have energy management. Energy management is going to boil down to two things: mental and being smart enough to know when and when not to use your energy. So on the mental side, just being relaxed, being calm. If you're super nervous, you're going to gas out. As soon as you throw three punches, you're going to gas out because your mind puts your body into like overdrive. You're basically in shock and all this adrenaline is pumping through you. So you need your mind to be relaxed in order to really be able to utilize your cardio the way you want to. And then after that, you have to know when and when not to go 100%. If you just go balls to the wall 100% the entire fight, you're going to gas within the first 2 minutes. Even the most in shape fighters could gas themselves if they went 100% from start to finish, right? So you got to pick your spots. Know when to go hard, know when to pull back. You can't throw 100% all the time. Your average punch and your average output should be like 50 to 70%. And then sometimes you turn up, other times you relax. You got to find spots to breathe. You got to find spots to work hard. You got 10 seconds left on the clock, put more work in. And it's really a tough balance because you got to think about it. You don't want to use too little effort because then you're going to lose. You have to work. You can't win a fight without working. But you don't want to work too hard because then you lose by gassing yourself out. So you have to like skate this fine line of like not going too hard, but also making sure you're working as hard as you can. That's the difficult part about it. So yeah, all together, if you want to be in good shape, if you want to have good cardio, you got to be in good shape, work those three groups of cardio, and you also have to be mentally and physically smart with how you manage your energy. How did Kimbo Slice make it to the UFC? He made it to the UFC by having fame and notoriety. When you're popular, when you're already buzzing in the media, you're going to be able to make it further. Why? Because you're bringing what the sport is looking for. Because at the end of the day, you got to think about it. At the end of the day, fighters and all athletes are no more than a circus act, right? Where people are just rooting to see you do tricks and be entertained and satisfied, right? That's all any athlete really is. We're circus freaks, right? Our job is to entertain. So if your job is to entertain, that means it's not really all about the skill set. Half the battle is just being popular, just bringing something to the table that makes other people want to watch you. So even if you don't know how to fight, you could be a rapper with 2 months of training and say, "Hey, I want to fight in the UFC." I'm pretty sure they're gonna let you in, right? Because you're bringing viewership, and that's what it's all about. People just want viewership. If you're Dana White, you're the UFC. Whoever's gonna put more butts in seats, whoever's gonna put more viewers, they're gonna sign that person. So always keep that in mind. It's not always just about skills, man. A lot of times it's really just about having notoriety, having a name. My man said footwork is key with head movement and counterattacks. Yeah, footwork is key. For me, my whole online program is all about footwork because footwork is the base for everything in every single sport, right? You don't leave the house without using footwork, right? You have to walk to the mailbox. You have to walk to your car. You're using your feet every single day. If you look at fighting, fighting starts from your feet. Every jab, every cross, every takedown, everything begins with your feet. You start on the feet. You have to move your feet to attack. You have to move your feet to defend. And if you're just a stationary tree with your roots planted down all the time, people are going to run circles around you. It's too easy to be the guy who stands still. Too easy to cut angles around that person, to feint that person, it's too easy. So if you're the kind of guy who stays stationary, you want to Change that ASAP if you ever want to be one of the best people. Look up all the best people, and they're people that move their feet. Look at Floyd Mayweather. Look at Terrence Crawford, uses his footwork. Tank Davis, Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson. Those are boxers. Look at MMA. You have Max Holloway. Topuria has good footwork. Marab has good footwork. Israel Adesanya. All the best fighters have good footwork. It says, can you do this? Can you do the sit up to stand up? Sit ups like Floyd Mayweather. Yeah, those sit ups to stand ups. I mean, those are cool. Yeah, I could definitely do it. Those are going to be really effective though, because you're getting more than just a ab workout. Now you're getting your legs involved in it and everything like that. Those are hardcore though. Those are really good. I like those. I don't really do those often, but those are a good workout. If you add that to your regimen, it's a good workout. What do you do if somebody asks, what do you do if someone rushes you? So if somebody rushes me, it really just depends. Like, is that person rushing me consistently? Does it keep rushing me throughout the whole match, or is it like a one-time thing? But typically when someone's rushing, you got to make sure, this was the key. This is what's important, man. What's important is if somebody's rushing you, you have to make sure that you have space behind you to move. That's very key when you fight. If you have space behind you, you have every direction for defense at your disposal. You can move forward to smother your opponent. You can move left, you can move right, and you can move back. If the cage is behind you, you lose 25% of all your defensive movement. You can't move backwards. You can only move left, right, and forward. So this is my biggest advice. Make sure there's space behind you. Because if you have space behind you when the person rushes you, you can move out the way. You can matador, right? When a person rushes you, you can smother them. You can take them down. You can smother, turn them, push them back. You can move left. You can move right. Just make sure you defend yourself on the way to your left or your right so you don't get caught. But yeah, man, typically that's like my biggest key. Whether somebody's rushing you or they're walking you down or whatever the case is, make sure that you have space behind you, which means you cannot let your back be to the cage. Stay off the cage, move your feet. Unless they're just like way slower than you and you can see all their shots, then you can kind of play on the cage or whatever, or play on the ropes. But outside of that, you don't want the cage to your back. He says, I had a kickboxer in MMA. I used my footwork, body slammed him, then finished him off with punches. That's cool, man. So you fought against a kickboxer and you used your wrestling. There you go. You fight against somebody who's a good striker. And here's the thing: if you're a wrestler, you better at least have footwork on the feet. Look at Marab. Marab doesn't have the greatest stand-up, but he has two things: great wrestling, great footwork. Which means on the feet, you can't hit him. His feet are always moving. And then when you get angry, when you start to get frustrated and you start to rush him, scoop takes you down. So if you're a wrestler, you want to have good footwork and good takedowns, and you're locked in. But when you don't have any footwork and all you have is wrestling, you typically can't time your setups. Your shots are off. Everything's is slow and lagging. A wrestler with good footwork, key. How often do you recommend that you should train your neck muscles? If you're in camp, man, I would do it often. It depends though. Like if you're doing like the ones where you just go here and do those like neck ups, those ones you could do those pretty much every single day. But if you're doing like the more strenuous ones where you have like the weight connected and you're lifting your head up, those you're probably going to do a little bit less often, just because it's probably not going to be too great on your spine if you're just doing them things all the time. Plus it's a little bit more taxing on your neck in general. So these ones where you're doing like the neck ups, you could do those pretty much every single day. You'll be fine.